So this is accidentally programming a narcissist to ruin your life. Once again, emotionally stunted is the core tenet of the narcissist. Chronic self-absorbed, self-preoccupied behavior. They think of themselves first, limited lack of empathy, lack of guilt or remorse, disregard for your well-being, safety, and those you love. They do what feels best. They do not learn from past mistakes and continue to repeat behaviors that has negative consequences. Lack of self-reflection, inability to take your perspective, stand in your shoes. History of conflict and drama in relationships. History of denying reality due to effective realism. Reality is what it feels like versus what it is. History of distorting reality, making up new narratives about situations to deal with it. Lying. History of impulsive behavior, more feeling than thinking, so they do what feels best. Enmeshment in relationships instead of emotional intimacy. May focus on physical things versus emotional. They do not do emotional work. They do not know how to repair relationships effectively. Emotionally stunted, the superior psychology. Also the same psychology as a 2-year-old, so if you know a 2-year-old, you know a superior being. Imagine that. Everybody can go home. There's no soul searching or anything now. Just try to be a 2-year-old. So, this programming a narcissist, I realized when the blue-eyed guy and when I was president, the wives were explaining to me that everybody has to talk to you in a certain way because you have no agency. And you have no accountability. Those are the two things they steal from you with their hypnotic bullshit. So you just do things and everybody else has to deal with it. You just do things and it's everybody, it doesn't matter what you do. You could flood the world and get everybody killed and fucking, you're the victim in it. You just do things, and because all you do is strictly react. That is all you do out there. You are mindless. You are completely mindless, and all you do is react. This is important because the creature is a blank slate, a gray person with no values or morals of any kind. It has no functioning thought process, nor does it have complex thought of any kind. Okay, and this makes it subject to programming. Other people can program it easily because it's stupid, but it also thinks it's smart. Okay, once again, chaotic. It goes in both ways. It makes no sense. So this is going to be a straightforward one. Specifically, Blondie and Mary Bowberry, because I remember when he came into Papa John's and was like, "Why do you like her? She's just an ugly fat chick," was literally like what he said. And then I explained to him why I liked her, and then suddenly he liked her. That's a example. I'm going to give another one. When I was in high school, there was this guy that was just high on drugs all the time. And we got into talking, and I told him a part of having an identity is knowing what you like and what you don't like. I like the 1969 El Camino. I also like the 1970 Roadrunner, but the 1969 El Camino has always been my favorite vehicle. When I was in high school, I told this kid, we were talking about cars, and I told him I liked the 70 Roadrunner, specifically for a car, because he told me the El Camino was a truck when I told him I liked the 1969 El Camino. Now, the El Camino is actually the mullet of vehicles, because it has a car front end and a truck ass, but, you know, some people don't consider it a true truck or car. They don't consider it a car, so whatever. Anyways, the 70 Roadrunner became my secondary pick, 2-door, and this guy didn't know what the vehicle was, and then when I explained it to him, he later came in the following day telling me that was his favorite car. There are no other cars, he doesn't like any other car, and this guy, like, I had a curiosity because that was my favorite car. I told him about it and suddenly it was his favorite car. And it's because I made the thing sound good. The same way I made Mary sound good to Blondie because he's easily programmed. This same shit happened with this guy in the 70 Roadrunner. He's easily programmed because they don't have a preset identity. They don't know who they are. They're mindless. And they like being mindless. It's part of the church's slogan, be mindless, be stupid. It's the best way to be a dumbass. Even when you're the leader, you're not allowed to think. And this was funny because people would call me and go, Bobby, your words have consequences and you need to think. You cannot think when they have that much heavy metals in your brain. You cannot think. You cannot use complex thought. It is physically impossible. Because I kept trying to do it out there and I just got frustrated and pissed off. And the wives would snap on me whenever I tried to think, because that's against the rules of being the leader. You just react. That's it. And everything's supposed to go in one direction. You're supposed to only say what you want, not what you don't want. And I kept saying what I didn't want. But they were like, only say what you want. Like, whenever you talk to people, tell them what you want. And try to word, and you had to word everything. And it's that shit. They all speak sideways. And then they wanted me to speak sideways when I've always been a straight talker. Like, holy shit, talk about things that are against your nature. I just say it like it is. Holy fuck, dude. I mean, these guys couldn't be straight talkers if they had to. Everything sideways, so. But, yeah. This shit with the 1969 El Camino, the 1970 Roadrunner and the drug kid from my school got funny because I got a book from the library and I looked up the Lamborghini Diablo, which was a car I read about when I was in elementary school. And I read that page off to him and I said, that's my favorite car. And then 2 days later, this kid came in and said the Lamborghini Diablo was his favorite car. Keep in mind, one side of this is external validation or conditional love. They want the conditional love, so they're going to like whatever you like. They're going to go, this is the best thing, even if they do not care and it's disingenuous as fuck. As long as you love me, I will do anything in the world. I will fit that mold you have created. I will squeeze myself, break my knees, shatter my back, break my fingers, and try to fit into something I don't fit. For a while, until I am in too much pain and too uncomfortable, and then I'll blow off the relationship and go chasing after somebody else like the flake I am. That is how they work. This is a thing with narcissists. They try to be other people. Like I said, when I was at fucking Papa John's, Kevin and the other guys were fucking analyzing my psychology so they could tell Blondie how to behave so he could get married. It's probably the biggest 2-year-old move you could make, but I want to talk about how this behavior is 2-year-old-esque. Kids choose people. Okay, children choose people and then imitate them. There's a whole complexity of the social conversation about who the alpha is in the room. And believe it or not, the alpha isn't always aggro and aggressive. Sometimes the alpha is just the most interesting person, especially to a child. A child is only interested in the most interesting person or the person they perceive to be the most interesting person. This is why Big Bird's bright yellow on Sesame Street, or the Muppets are so weirdly and uniquely shaped because they catch the attention of the kid. Alright? So kids will choose somebody they perceive to be the alpha in the group, or the most interesting person, and then imitate them. And they imitate them for one of two reasons. One, social development, and the other side is a small child doesn't have an identity yet. So they're just stealing parts of other people, or they're literally trying to copy somebody else's identity. They're suddenly like, I'm into baseball or I'm into sports because my dad's into sports. My dad, and you ever meet somebody that's a real copy, like a carbon copy of their parents, and be like, they'll just go, my dad did that. My dad did that. My dad did that. My mom did that. My mom did that. My dad did that. My mom did that. My dad did that. And that's okay to have every now and then, but it shouldn't be the basis for your psychology. I'm a carbon copy of my dad. I do this because he did this. And you're just like, so you're mindless. And you don't think about anything you do. Yeah. This also feeds into the envy brain. Yes, the green giant. The biggest offender of this was my idiot friend Taco, who, when I would talk like Ed, it's me, butter toast. Oh boy, here it comes, a flossing dresser drawer with no leaves under the bunk. It called upon the airplanes to crash into the... Whoops, there it was. My brain stopped working. He would imitate me. He copied everything I did. In fact, with the exception of my atheism, which he had a stalwart problem with, because he couldn't imagine living in a world where there was nobody in control, because he probably had control issues from being raped in the ass as a kid. But outside of that, he copied and imitated everything I did. Now, he's not the only person guilty of that, believe it or not. When I was in middle school, I had 3 or 4 other friends that would actually sit down at my table, and we would actually sit down and talk like Ed. And they would imitate me. Why? Because it's interesting. Because it's fascinating. Because it's a way of fucking wasting time. It's fun, generally, you know. When I was at Papa John's, people began imitating my mannerisms. And it was kind of funny because as they did, they would later be like, I'm not doing that. That's because I have a strong personality. Okay? That is a part of being me because I have always been uniquely me. Because sadly, I've just never actually been able to do anything any other way. Yeah. When I was in, I'll give you an example of this. When I was in elementary school, we had to take long sentences and shorthand them and write them in your own words. Write them in your own words. And I was a master of this because I would shorthand everything. And because I shorthanded everything, I became a master at writing in this form, but I was really bad at writing everything out with specific directions and complete authenticity and detail. I was horrible at it because I've always just been me, and anytime I've ever approached anything, I always bobby it. I don't mean to do it intentionally, and sometimes it doesn't end well, sometimes it ends just fine. But this is an inner connection to myself, okay? What these other people lack is a self, okay? And one, like I said, religion creates gray men. It tells you what to say, what to do, how to think, what's okay, what's not okay. You can't be gay. You're not allowed to be gay. You have to masturbate. You can't masturbate. You have to marry a woman, X, Y. You have to do this. You have to do that. And then when they meet somebody like me that's just their own person and they're okay, they absolutely hate it because I'm physical evidence that you don't have to do any of those things and you can be okay in life. They're miserable. And they're miserable because of their religion. Makes them miserable, and they for some reason believe that suffering is somehow good. Okay? They're idiots. But narcissists have an entire thing for mirroring people and imitating their interests. They don't know how to... One of the early things that happened, I just remembered this about Mary Bowberry, Blondie stole a fucking story from my DA page and literally told me he's gonna tell Mary he wrote it. And then he gave it to her, and then she thought it was gross because my DA page is gross. And he was like, she hates it! I'm gonna tell her you wrote it! And I was like, so you're just gonna tell her you lied to begin with? Because in Blondie's brain, it's as long as I get what I want. It's not about authenticity, being genuine, or any of those other things, because he's pathetic. He's insecure. Which is why he has to steal from other people. Okay, he's the opposite of a leader. He's a little man. And here's the thing. Not just him, every member of this church is the same person. They are all the same way. When they deal with genuine people, they fail. And they don't like the fact that they will always fail when they deal with genuine people. They can't handle it because they're losers. It's in their blood. It's in their nature. They themselves don't even know who they are. And I know this because when they made me president and they did all the stupid shit to my brain, I got to experience firsthand what it was like not to have critical thinking and just say stupid shit all the time. Okay? Which, holy shit, is that a fucking ridiculous and dumb way to live. Okay? Oh boy. But yes. So, in a nutshell, narcissistic programming comes from envy. Okay? You tell them, basically, you meet a woman and they're like, oh, that woman's not special, and then you explain to them why that woman's special. They immediately want to have sex with them. Because if that person's special and they have sex with them, that means they're good enough. Okay? Because you said that person's special, now I'm special, and I'm good enough because you put her on a pedestal and you said she was special, and now she belongs to me, and that makes me special because I stole your goddess, and that's how that works, and you loved her, and you didn't love me, and my dad didn't love me, but mental issues, I should be in a clinic, I shouldn't be around normal human beings. Like, yes, this is a narcissist in a nutshell. So, I guess when dealing with a narcissist, remember you can program them because they have no identity. And this might be a shortcoming in all of their brains, to be honest, because it's literally explained. This is why you have to be careful about how you talk to the president, because you can program him into doing what you want. And he's actually really easy to program. I remember multiple times, I'll give you an example. When I was president, there were these two actresses, and one of them was like a supermodel that got into acting, and the other one was like one of those hard workers, but the hard worker was jealous of the supermodel for taking the easy way in. So she basically convinced me to tell the supermodel she wasn't allowed to be an actor anymore. And I did that. But then I turned to the other girl and said, you did that because you're insecure and you're jealous. And they were like, what? And I was like, you want me to stop her from being an actress? Like, yes. I was like, okay, you're not allowed to be an actress anymore because you're a former supermodel and you didn't earn it. And then the other girl's like, yeah. And I was like, now, but you, in order for this to go through, have to admit you're insecure and jealous. And that's the real reason you don't want her to be an actress, because you view her as a threat to your stardom. And the girl froze and was like, how are you doing that? I was like, I've done this my entire life, lady. I was like, this ain't anything special to me. You're an open book. Nothing special. And I remembered this awkward silence. And then she was like, can you let her be an actor again? I was like, I cannot, because the president cannot undo anything he says, because that's not toxic. No, it is toxic. You should never have rules like that. It's stupid. Another event was, there's a dude that would call me before I spoke to people, and he would just say weird things like, all wrestlers have heart attacks. And then I would talk to a wrestler and be like, wrestlers have heart attacks. Like, and I would just say that because that guy told me that beforehand, and I guess it was like, it's all sabotage. But once again, why the wives let that happen to me, I don't know. You would think there would be some type of vetting process or something, but no. They would just let this guy say something, and it was pre-programming, because you're mindless when you're the president. You're mindless. You literally don't have any void or say in anything you do. And that's how these people want to be, is mindless. And if you upset them or disturb them, they overreact and kill you because you knocked them out of their natural state. I don't know what creature that is like that. Like, I don't know if you ever had some kind of creature that when you mess with it, it just up and attacks you. Like, maybe an alligator. If you fuck with an alligator, it just up and attacks you like a real reptile. Like, that's kind of how it works. You need to let me have my way, and if you upset the norms, if you, like, the wives used to always tell me, the former president hated surprises, and they kept telling me that because they wanted me to hate surprises, but I kept saying I love surprises. Because I did. They're exciting. To the former president, it's not exciting. It's a surprise. It's something out of his control, something he doesn't understand, he didn't expect, and he doesn't know how to react to it. So he freaks out and starts screaming. Like, that's how that works. But I was not that guy, and the wives kept, when I was out there, they kept making this mistake of comparing me to the other guy, and I kept telling them we're separate people. We're separate people. We're separate people. It makes sense. And, dude, I could probably do an entire video on that, but yeah. This is just how to program a narcissist for dummies, I guess. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think.